Okay. So I'm currently crashing on caffeine right now. And I'm gonna try to hold it together for you. So anyway, I don't know, like caffeine like has like a hit or miss effect for me. Sometimes it's like really good and sometimes it's just like I start getting like all fucked up. But anyway, I had a thought earlier because I passed somebody while I was out and they smelled good, you know, but I didn't like say anything. But like I just was thinking like, what is it really like if a person smells good and they like put the effort in to like try to smell good and they have basically the topic of this video today is going to be more so about like wearing fragrances. I think it indirectly makes you seem like a little bit more confident than you probably would think, you know. And I also think like sometimes people, well, I'll say, so when you're wearing a fragrance, you're basically letting the world know that you just like don't really care like what they think about you trying to like represent or like present yourself to the world. And I know sometimes people might think that like wearing, because I've heard people say this, but like they think that people wear like fragrances and stuff and like super like loud cologne or just any fragrance really, they think like they're full of themselves and they think like they're the shit. But I never really thought like that. I've never thought like, oh, this guy's like, he thinks he's badass because he's wearing this like strong ass cologne, you know, like everybody like I don't know, like I hear people say that sometimes, but it's usually from people that I know that don't wear fragrances at all. Like they just don't wear any sort of fragrance at all on about like of like any kind. Basically, I can't speak right now. I'm crashing out. But anyway, yeah, like I don't know if that means, because I think sometimes people might be afraid to wear cologne or any fragrance because they're like a little shy maybe, and they don't want people to like notice them in a like an offensive way. I think sometimes people were like raised to think like certain things that they do is kind of offensive and they don't want to like be too loud in how they like present themselves. And that's kind of how I was thinking like, okay, well, if you choose to ignore that idea and you just say fuck it and you just spray like a shit ton of fragrance on yourself, you're kind of basically like giving yourself like a confident like aura about you without even really trying, you know. Like I know sometimes people might be like, they're not super confident, you know, with like approaching people and like they're not really good at conversating, you know, just naturally, and it kind of makes you seem like you have a little bit of low confidence. But if you somehow, it almost makes you seem sort of confident if you're wearing a fragrance, because like you're just still like, you might be shy but you're still like comfortable enough in yourself to just wear whatever the fuck you want, you know. You don't really care like what people think, how you smell. And I think people that are just kind of like lazy and kind of shy and don't have like any real interest in making connections or progressing in life, they just don't ever wear fragrances because they just don't care, and they don't care enough to where they probably don't even shower, you know. They don't even bathe, so like why would they wear fragrance, you know? But yeah, I just think that was funny. You know, I think there's also another angle to this is like, so if you're confident and you don't give a shit about what people think, you just wear fragrances and it kind of gives people the impression that like, oh, this guy's, he's like in his own, he's on his own path and he doesn't give a shit and he just likes to smell good. But then there's also like this more kind of not so confident angle to this, because like I'm thinking if you're just like some kind of slob and you like don't really take care of yourself a whole lot, or you just kind of have like this kind of trashy vibe to you, but you just spray on like this really shitty like cheap perfume that's just like strong and it doesn't really match your whole vibe, like it doesn't go with your whole appearance. Like you could look really good and smell like nothing and people would just be like, oh, this is, you know, she just looks good, you know. But if you look like you don't care about your appearance but you cover it all up with a loud ass fragrance, it almost has like the opposite effect. Like, wow, this person's like just trying, like they're not trying at all, but they're still somehow trying too hard, you know. I think fragrances, like, you should wear a lot and wear whatever you want, but don't like try too hard about it, you know what I mean? Like, don't seem like you're trying so hard with it. But yeah, I think if you struggle with confidence, I don't even really know I'm going to call this video, but I think if you struggle with confidence, I think you can build your confidence up by slowly doing things that maybe put yourself out of your comfort zone. And I know a lot of people like wearing a fragrance or like wearing a certain type of clothing or something like that would make them super uncomfortable because they think like people are paying attention to them more than they really are. But like just in passing and stuff, you know, like if I see like a really like sharp looking dude or something and he smells good, like he smells like he's wearing like some designer fragrance, I'm like, okay, this guy, like, he's got his head on his shoulders, you know, like he's pretty confident. But I don't know, if you see some like freaking nerdy freaking, I don't even know really, but there's just two sides to this, but you just have to find like the balance, I think. But when I was younger, I'm just trying to think of like when I started getting into fragrances, and I think it was when I started allowing myself to become more confident, and I started like finding my confidence in life. And like when I started finding that, I just kind of naturally, you know, shifted towards bettering my appearance and my overall like vibe, you know, and you just naturally start to become interested in fragrances and stuff. And I hate that type of shit where people are always like, oh, I don't wear fragrances because I don't like to smell like anything else. I already smell good. Like, okay, well, that's fine. Everyone knows that you shower, you know, like nobody's saying that you don't take care of yourself. Like, and wearing a fragrance doesn't like amplify the fact that you're clean, you know, like it's not like making anyone, oh, this guy wears a fragrance, he's clean, you know, like you smell like shit and still, you know, smell like a fragrance. But I don't know. I think confidence and fragrances go hand in hand, and you can either have a shit ton of confidence and wear a fragrance, or you can have no confidence at all and wear a fragrance, and it's like both visible as to what type of person you are. I think I'm just kind of getting this idea out of my head. Because also, I will say, I was just at this store and there was these two chicks and they were like walking around, and I was in the aisle like behind them or something, and I could smell like this really freaking strong fragrance. Like it was so strong that it like was gassing me out. And like that's coming from a person that wears a lot of fragrances, but I was in like the aisle behind them and I was like literally choking out from this thing, and it smelled good, but it was so strong. I was like, what in the fuck are they wearing right now? And it's not even like a person who's like dramatic and they're like, oh my god, you're gassing us all out, it's so strong. Like, it's not even like a situation like that. Like, I literally like was having trouble like breathing. I was like, holy shit. And like, what kind of idea does that make you think of this person? You know, like, to me, like when somebody smells like so strong like that, like where it's just like kind of ridiculous, it just makes me think, okay, this person has like low as fuck confidence. Like they're relying so heavily on this fragrance, or they just are kind of like not that smart of a person because they didn't realize like this is not the right move. Like wearing this kind of shit is like not the right move, you know? But I mean, I guess that's subjective. I mean, everyone has a different opinion on how much to wear. But it's just kind of making me think like, man, this is just like, you might have been attractive and you smell good, but you have so much of it on now that like, it's like, I can't even enjoy the fragrance. And I'm not even like interested in you because you are kind of just making me think you're dumb because you wore this much fucking fragrance. I don't know. These are just some random thoughts that I was having. But yeah, let me know what you think about the whole fragrances in kind of going together with confidence as a whole. I think, yeah, if you struggle with confidence, and this isn't really what the video is about, but like just kind of like something I was thinking. If you struggle with confidence, you know, just change like one little thing about yourself that kind of puts you sort of to where you think people might be like judging you or something. Like, who cares if you get judged, you know, like I'm making fun of how much this girl's fragrance she was wearing, but like at the end of the day, like who gives a shit? Like I'm never gonna see this girl again, you know. And it's like, and she probably just likes the way it smells, you know. Like I mean, it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. But it's all just perception, really. And then I think a lot of the times we're so in our heads about shit, we don't even like really realize like what's going on around us. But yeah, the perception is all that really matters, because nobody really knows what's going on inside your head. Like you could be the most confident person ever, and then you just are in misery, and you are so shy on the inside, but you just have like a way of presenting it to people to where like, oh, this guy's pretty confident, but it could be all just a bullshit lie, you know. But yeah, this is this is really not the direction that I was intending, but whatever. Yeah, this is just like, I don't know, confidence. Confidence is like something that I think you really have to work towards for a while. It's not something like, you can have it like kind of naturally, but it's like still something you kind of have to like maintain, I think. Or some people just have it, you know, naturally. When I was younger, I definitely did not have it. And then I got a little older, you know, and started understanding shit a little bit more, and yeah. But when I was younger, I was probably so nervous to ever wear a fragrance. Like I didn't ever even like wearing like certain clothes and shit. Like I remember when I was really young, like I was so insecure about the way like my clothes looked on me. So there was like no fucking way I would ever wear a fragrance. Like I didn't even want people like looking at me. Like I just was so like insecure and like unhappy in my own like skin, and basically, and like whenever you're like that, you don't want to draw attention to yourself at all, even though you might like smelling good, or you might like the clothes, but you just like don't like yourself. So I don't know. Yeah, I think that's it. I was having these thoughts earlier today. I was like, this would be a cool video. But yeah, I don't understand like the whole, like if you wear a fragrance, you're cocky. Like it doesn't make me think that they're cocky. It just makes me think like, oh, this guy actually is interested in something other than just bullshit, you know? I don't know. And like, I don't know, whatever. I'm done. Anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for sitting through my ramble about confidence and fragrances. But yeah, let me know if you agree. Let me know what you think about this topic. And yeah, I look forward to talking with you in the comments. I might have another video out later. I have a couple ideas that I'm trying to create or come up with in my head. But anyway, I'll see you later. Au revoir.